Yay, I'm live. Did it, made it. Nothing's ever as simple as it looks, people. Never, ever. Hi, I'm Rochelle. The name of my website is Feeding a Crowd. And I have a blog that I post on about 3 times a week with new recipes, ideas, and things that interest me. I hope you follow me. I hope you subscribe to my channels. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. All platforms I like, and they're fun to use. And if you subscribe or follow me, that would be awesome. So I hope you're all having a wonderful time of the year. I know it's stressing for a lot of us, but like I said last week, let's turn the stress into excitement. Life's too short to be stressed all the time. A little bit of stress is okay, but too much stress makes everyone unhappy, including me. Um, so I said that this week we'd be talking about cookbooks. I have a thing about cookbooks. I'm absolutely passionate about them. I was the minute I started cooking and baking, I amassed cookbooks. In the mornings, in fact, I would wake up and with my coffee, I would take out whatever cookbook out of my library and read it like an encyclopedia. Just enjoy the cookbook. Now, I have quite a few here. I have 5 here. And as you can see, they're well used. Favorite, José Di Stasio, Alla Di Stasio. I use this book. In fact, I'm going to go through some of the recipes. Each week, I'm going to pick a book and talk about one recipe in particular that I've made so much and so often. Look at these images. She changed everything in my life when it came to cooking. I'm going the wrong way because of the images that she has on food was amazing, and on TV the light was such that, anyways, I'm passionate. So José Di Stasio, another book that I've used extensively. So you want to see a book that's well worn? Scary. In fact, I made all these recipes. I've used this book so much that it's all broken up. It's a mess, and it's terrible. But I've made so many of these recipes. So, anyways, in a bit, I'm going to go through this book after I showed you all the other books and tell you which recipes I made. Another book. Did I use this book? Have I used this book in my life? Yes, I use this book. I still use this book because I'm back to using books. So when I like something, and these books are sort of old, right? So, and today we have so many more options when it comes to vegetables, to legumes, to um, uncanned foods. The older books have so much canned foods in them. I mean, look at this. This is just used. And whenever I find another one when I find them at flea markets, or like, I get them for my girls. It's like I'm obsessed with this book. There's so many great traditional fun recipes in this book. You want to make a pie, there's a pie in this book. You like everything. There's everything. Biscuits. In Canada, we're not big on biscuits. We're just not big on biscuits. But whenever I had unexpected guests and not enough food, I would whip up a batch of biscuits. I don't follow the recipe anymore. I just do it by feel now. But great biscuit recipe in this book. Yeah, so I used to make biscuits and then just put a big bowl of hot biscuits on the table, and it didn't show so much that there was not that much food because the people just ate the hot biscuits and were filled up with that, and less food. It's a pretty terrible thing to do. Oh well, now they know my secret. Darn. Okay, I got this book later in life because I cook a lot of Italian. And when I started cooking Italian, I wanted to know everything about it. I didn't just want to make spaghetti. No, 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 no. That to me was not Italian. It's really not, because they don't even call spaghetti sauce, right? They call it ragu. So what I love about this book, I don't even know if they still make it, but whenever there's a recipe, okay, so pasta alla norma, they'll have the history, they'll have the when, why, and how, they'll have the methods, the techniques, the different versions. Basically, you learn the history of the dish before you make it. That's awesome. Anyways, orecchiette with broccoli rabe. I love it. It's like pasta primavera. But why? Like, did you know that there's a whole history behind pasta primavera? So unlike, let's just read a short thing about this because I'm sure we all eat it. Unlike most dishes, pasta primavera has a clear pedigree. Who knew? And despite the name, this popular recipe originated in the United States, not Italy, just like Caesar salad. Pasta Primavera was created at Le Cirque, New York's famed French restaurant, in the 1970s. Patrons told restaurateur Sirio Macchioni that they wanted healthier, lighter dishes, so he created a pasta dish loaded with fresh vegetables. He dubbed his invention Spaghetti Primavera. Primavera is Italian for spring. Anyways, there's a lot more to this. I mean, I'm just reading a small. I should probably keep this, and we find a recipe every week, and I'll read a little history of the recipe because I love knowing stuff like that. It just makes me happy to learn new stuff. Curiosity is important. So, important book in my life. It's when I learned to make pasta. Once you learn to make pasta, it's magic, which is why I have a lot of pasta on my blog. So, third book. Actually, it's the fourth one. So I went through three series, 3 different years, right? Better Homes and Gardens, the whole series, you'd have like 40 books. So my mom had the books, the first books were really small. And, during that age, everything was brown and orange in the books and yellow, like they call it harvest yellow. And, but the recipes were great, right? And then my mom got a newer version, and that was great. And I got the old version. And then my mom got this version. And we got rid of the older version. I wish I had it. Why didn't I think of that? This casual entertaining, I use a lot. Okay, so now I don't I'm on my third. I'm sure there's a newer one. So again, the ideas that I use this book for was that I entertain a lot. Like I entertain massively and often. When I had kids, it was too hard to go out. I didn't go out. What I did was invite people over. And I loved entertaining. Didn't matter the size of my kitchen, the size of my house, how many kids there were. I just had people over. And then my kids had their friends over. And then, I don't know, it's what I do. And this book has just a lot of great recipes. The one that I made the most apparently was this one. The meatballs. Yep, sweet sour no, it was glazed meatballs. So I don't make the meatball recipe, but it's the glaze. I just went to this because I make my own meatballs on my recipe. In fact, my meatball recipe is super healthy and gluten-free. There's no bread in it. There's ricotta. Talk about Italian foods. So yeah, so the whole series, I used a pie book. Has great ideas for pie. And which one that I used a lot? I guess I used a lot the meat ones. And anyways, on and on. So these are just 5 of the books that I have downstairs. And as I said, I don't follow recipes that much anymore, except obviously if I was going to make a cheesecake, I would open the book. If I go through, I'm going to slowly try, this, I could just take the book. Like, remember this? We still make it. When we started making this, we never stopped because it's so good. It's so easy. People still love this food. So I think Philadelphia is magic. I love the cheese itself. So I made that a lot. I remember making that. There's some weird stuff in here. I made these a lot too. So petite Philly pinwheels, great to make, great fun. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There you go. Made these quite a lot. Apple cheddar spread, made that a lot. Curried chicken puffs, made that too. Only once though, didn't come out. I wasn't big on curry then. I didn't really understand it. Like Remember these? I think people still are still making them. Cheese balls, right? Doop, 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 doop. I'm moving the wrong one. So here we go. I need to get better at this. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but cheese balls. Yeah, we've done that, haven't we? Oh my, I'm coming to my favorites now. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Good God. Not that. So I'm just going to try it. Okay, so this one is a family favorite. We make it at least once. Whenever we have brunch, this is a must. Oof, this recipe. These crepes filled with cream cheese filling. This is so good. I never serve it with cherries and bananas, but usually raspberries and blueberry because, it's what we have most of. We don't have cherries that much here. Well, they're not as popular, I think, as in the States. So that's part of the book. Moving on. Oh, some things are so weird. So I've made the cinnamon streusel coffee cake. Oh, raisin scones. So because I like the English from Britain, British, I don't know, the culture there, and I love all their TV shows. I have that same sense of humor. I think it's just dry sense of humor. They're raisin scones. I started making them. You have to eat them fresh. You cannot for the life of you eat those the next day. They're like pucks, hockey pucks. But yeah, you make those. They're so easy, and with the cream cheese, it just adds some tenderness and yumminess to it. So yep, that's another thing that I made a lot. Oh, another favorite. I made so many recipes in this book. So this marble squares, favorite. Favorite marble squares. Made it a lot. You can tell because the page is dirty. This poor book. I think I should try to. Oh, I did find a new one once, and I gave it to my daughter, and I told her, you know what? That's what you do. You need this book in your life. These I've made a lot for parties. And they're just cheesecake, but the fact that they're miniature and they're just a few bites is perfect. So yeah, and how many cheesecakes have I done in this book? Most of them. So yes, so I have to tell you that if you want a vintage book, a fun book in your life, just because this book. Okay, so that's it. We're not talking about books anymore. Okay. I don't know why I'm laughing at myself. I think it's important that I laugh at myself. So I was looking at new holiday trends. And there's the thing about Christmas and the holidays being any holiday for any culture or people or religion, they're very traditional. There's not much that changes quickly as traditions go from the research that I did. Like for a while we try new stuff because we were so tired of the traditional foods, at the parties. And we do it for a few years, but we tend to go back to what's traditional, where we had as kids, and so there are new trends. I mean, if people are drinking less, so people are having the wines or whatever drinks that have no alcohol are so much better. So people are drinking less. That's a good and fun trend, new trend, very enjoyable. The food is fresher, less canned food. So whatever vegetables you're having aren't coming out of a can, which is pretty great, right? I think that's better. Probably easier to digest. I mean, dear Lord, all that canned and frozen food. Actually, I like frozen foods, veggies. But and we still have turkey, even though we cook it differently. We brine it. A lot of people are smoking their turkeys. It's not a new trend from this year, but it's newish. A lot of people have smokers now. Before we all had one person in our families that had smokers, but now a lot of people have them, and a lot of people are doing that. And I think it's great. As for, and we're trying, I think since the pandemic, a lot of us started cooking differently because we had so much more time at home that we take the time to cook differently and, bring more pizzazz to our recipes, even though they're the same recipes. They're just slightly different. They're modernized, right? Just like those books that I showed you. Some of them are 45 years old. I can assure you, like we don't even have canned some of this stuff they have canned there. We probably don't have on our shelves anymore. We do, but everyone just walks past them, except the 80-year-olds, and we got to feed those people. So so I guess the canned food is still there. Um, so I'm going. So when it comes to if people want to comment on a trend that they find that is different and new, please let me know in the comments below, because that'd be awesome. Maybe we could, if we all took one really old recipe and reinvented it, like everyone, we give ourselves a challenge, like Harvard beets. I've made them a few times, but no one eats them. We go back to the beets in a jar, and people eat those. So I don't know. So I think the new trends, I think it's just very traditional, and the changes are very slow, as opposed to like something that just takes the cake, right? What is very, very traditional here, at any form of party, the midnight, le réveillon de Noël, or um, family suppers, we always have it. You have to have it's It's just so important. So chicken sandwiches, well, turkey sandwiches, egg sandwiches, ham sandwiches. And you can't make it too different, because people say, oh, they don't taste like my mom used to make. They always say that. So very important here in Quebec. So, and I probably a lot of places too. And we always have to have deviled eggs. And sometimes we're like, but deviled eggs are so boring. You put the platter down, and 3 minutes later, there's not one left. And deviled eggs are not fun to make. I mean, no one wants to make them. Say hi, please, in the chat, if you can find the chat. And thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss me next week. So yeah, so can you think of anything else that's always at a party? Dips, vegetable dips. So boring to make, but it's great. It's just like it always works. So dips, I don't know. What else do we always? Oh yeah, you always have hot dogs, right? Hot dogs and syrup with cherries or pineapple. People love that, and they just like people like put 10 on their plate. So another weird party food that doesn't go out of style apparently. Hot dogs. Who knew? Not my thing, but I make it because I know people love them. And then eggnog. Okay, you know what? Eggnog has completely gone out of style. No one is making it. It's very expensive to make. I make it, and my kids love it when I make it. I always make a batch with alcohol and a batch with no alcohol. But even me, like when I drink an eggnog now, I make it, but when I drink it, it's so rich that it's hard. It's a dessert really. So if I have a supper party during the holidays, I tend to serve it as a mousse, as dessert with a good biscotti, and I think that's a great dessert. But to drink, it's very, very rich. And have you ever seen Martha Stewart recipe? It's almost as much alcohol as there is eggnog. You're actually floored after 3 sips. In fact, it's too much. It tastes just like booze. So yeah, I don't do that recipe. I've tried it once and nearly bankrupted myself buying the booze. So yeah, but next week I'm making eggnog, passing it around to the kids, because eggnog's important. You know what I do in my eggnog? I change the whole recipes. I hate it when you're trying to drink eggnog and it's too thick. So I like to make mine. I like to make mine more liquid. So I don't whip everything into a frenzy. I actually don't whip the whipped cream. So yeah, I whip the egg whites with, yeah, so I just make it differently. I'm going to post the recipe this week. How's that, people? I'm going to make it, take pictures, and then put it on the blog. Because I don't have a recipe. I just make it without the recipe. Because it's all in my head. So yeah, so I'll just make it and have it there. And maybe we can make it popular again. Or as I said, serve it for dessert. How's that? This week, my discovery or your discovery or something that I have that I think is super cool and we don't see anymore. We see all kinds of gadgets. Is this awesome gadget? So what is that? Sounds like a potato presser, isn't it? So here you go. Whole gadget of the week. This, my dear people, and it even has, you'll see in a minute, you put half an orange in here. Yeah, it's an orange squeezer. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then it comes pouring out here without the pits. And that's how you get your morning orange juice. Isn't that like a cool, like this is a cool gadget. So it's called Wherever. AC Limited. Unfortunately, like as cool as this thing is, it's made out of aluminum. So you use it for fun, but you don't use this every day. No one should be using aluminum anything to eat in every day, right? But this is an old-fashioned, I don't know how old it is. There's no year on it. I'm sure if I Google pictured it, I would know. But it's still in great condition. It still has the little feet and everything. So I love this little gadget. It sits proudly on my hutch. Yep. And the kids like to play with it. So here's to a fun gadget. So this week I'll be posting on my blog, before I sign off, on my blog this week, what's going to be coming out is brine, turkey brine. I believe in making it simple and delicious, and you can brine your turkey for as long as you want. Like once it's in brine, it's a preservative, right? It's full of sugar and salt. So you're good to go. If you don't want to freeze and thaw your turkey until the holidays, brine it. That's how you do it. And, that works. So you don't have to worry about freezing it today and then thawing out next week, which, as we know, thawing out a turkey takes a long time and is a lot of trouble. So yeah, so I'll do the brine. Someone asked me, my daughter asked me to come up with the sloppy Joe recipe, which is all in my head again. So I'm just going to this time measure out everything and take pictures and put it on the blog. So we'll have the eggnog, we'll have the brine, and we'll have sloppy joes, which I'm going to have with my grandsons tomorrow night for supper. It's always exciting. I love getting the kids at school and then having them for a few hours. We do the homework and then they play, and then I make supper and we have tea after supper. And because, tea, well, we have herbal tea after supper and cookies. And if we have time, we play one board game. But, I have to bring them home early because there's school tomorrow, the next day. Anyways, I'm really happy to have spent time with you today. Please like my feed, at least. Just give it a thumbs up because that always helps. And thumbs up, subscribe, like the channel. And find me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Feeding a Crowd, or my name, Rochelle Fortin. And don't forget, go visit my website. It's ad-free. It's pop-up free. It's awesome. And I'm making it more awesome every week. So thank you again and have a wonderful week.